Restez-les. 다 쉔게 소리야. 가면 게스트 시에토로 심어이나. 그래서 투빈 수하면로 삼시다 디자인 gembasul 계자 망아 시도 삼바 gembasul 계자 카나노네 마 가르쳐오래 시야드 망아지 통해 소리지. 시험바스 냠 게시도 삼바 수 비미디도 가르쳐오래 시야 계자 망아 통해 소리도. 이유서 쉔게 소리 시야드 데시 그 내가 잡고 가서 땅아 좀 미럽디기 마음be 미럽기 갱키 통해지 소마토도 심바이나 아니 아주 미럽디기야 맞으면 나지 잘와 이제 삼바 자외 넘어 좀 많이 해요 말이 아주 비미디도 내게 소조디 직디 배든 된다 세야들이 다 배든 된다 세스를 삼바 아니 간아냠도 계시에 단다 우멜럼기 토네 디 템파비 시주제 이상 우멜럼기 토네 배든 된다 세고요리 딜이야 나라 송문에 배주 제고에 되게지 강투두지 제고를 때 이내 파조 갑대디 대나차대 요베 손자 안고 디나당 따기따기 진로고 해지레 마도지기 아주 초직 지구지기 타주 투약에 나 말봐 이메인에 디톨이양 아주 내가 마음을 내가 가르쳐 있는 단다 70보다 마음을 내가 가르쳐 싶은 제베이네 이게 상으로 70도 되면 돈에 탑주도 되면 돈에 제투야리아 망가지간 로디기요리 아니 랭게 이버디 땅가란수 제주나는 유베기 비미지조디 샤다다 수에들이 유망강의 체대를 그들도 다애들이 어디 딩이 주변이 딩에 두점 직슈나 삼수 Tibet was written by an American who lived on the border with Tibet in Sichuan province of China, and this guy had written a book called Tibet Out, and in one of the chapters is titled as Roof of the World. The highest is more than that. So when I went to Japan last year, I spoke to school students there and college students there, and I asked them that flows into India and into Pakistan. Many rivers that flows Cambodia, Thailand, and Vietnam, the Mekong River, originate from Tibet, and the two major rivers of China, Yellow and Yangtze, also originate from the Tibetan plateau, right? And Yellow River is the cradle of Chinese civilization, Tibet in general. And the size of Tibet, last time before coming here, and I was telling them, I checked the size of UK, the whole of UK, and the whole of UK is only about 240,000 square kilometers. It's very small like Bhutan, which is not so. So Tibet is very big, okay? But the population of Tibet is very small because it's mountainous and the environmental situation can also accommodate that many people, right? Home to unique flora and fauna. Flora and fauna means plants and animals, which are very unique to Tibet. That you don't see. Some of these animals and plants you don't see in other parts of the world, because China and India, these two countries together, is almost 1/3 of the world's population. And Cambodia, Laos, and all water security and food security. These are going to be big issues. Sometimes when we go and tell the international community, we tell them that.
because you reincarnation your Bodhita Kandip matter features of the Chinese occupying Tibet.
This is, the question that you asked is very relevant because this is one question. This is one question that is in the mind of many people around the world, including the Chinese leadership. Chinese leadership is not bothered about the welfare of this living 14 Dalai Lama, who is there in Dharamsala. They have no respect for him. They call him a wolf in a sheep's flesh. Wolf in a sheep's clothing.
Wolf in sheep's
Dalai Lama is a separatist, Dalai Lama is a spiritist, and all that they keep calling him. All kinds of things. Denigrate. Next Dalai Lama, they can control the whole Tibetan population inside Tibet. So they're using that as a political tool to achieve their own end in extending their rule in Tibet and legitimizing it. Right? So even since 2007, decided by the 6 million Tibetans. Since 1967, His Holiness has been saying that, and it has been very consistent even up to today. But His Holiness also says that I will be born in a free world, not in a country like China where you don't have freedom. That His Holiness has said many times. And lately, His Holiness has also said that even if I get to go to China or Tibet, I will not stay there because there is no freedom in Tibet. And I don't want to die with Chinese on my bedside. His Holiness says, I want to die with Indian friends on my bedside. Just before coming here, 2 months ago, I met with His Holiness, which in Tibetan we say we had audience with His Holiness. So I had an audience with His Holiness, and His Holiness told me, I will live for another 20 years, up to 113 years of age. And China is definitely going to change. And then things will turn for the better for Tibetans. And this is what His Holiness keeps reassuring us. But as Buddhists, even though His Holiness has this wish to live long, and we are His followers, and if we don't follow His thinkings, His thoughts, and His practices, then there may be a time where His Holiness feels that it doesn't make sense for me to live long. Then he may not live long also. So that is why it is very important for us to understand the thinking of His Holiness, the thoughts of His Holiness, and follow that through. Then only His Holiness will live that long. And if His Holiness lived that long, and when His Holiness lived that long, then there will be a resolution to the Tibetan cause. But technically speaking, even we, as Central Tibetan Administration, is a government, we will not be interfering in the process of the selection of the next Dalai Lama, because the process of selection of Dalai Lama is very spiritual and religious in nature. No politicians can decide that. Only religious people, whomever His Holiness entrusts that job, will take up that responsibility. As Central Tibetan Administration, right now, I am the Minister for the Religion and Culture also. So, if there are responsibilities given to that particular department at that time, whenever that time comes, then that we will be responsible for that. But other than that, even we will have no say in the process of the selection of His Holiness Dalai Lama. Right? Of course, now everybody else, even in India, the Indian Buddhist Association have passed a resolution saying that the decision regarding His Holiness Dalai Lama's reincarnation should be His Holiness Dalai Lama alone. And when I speak with the White House people here, the National Security Council in the White House, they ask me, you don't seem to have a process in place. So I told them, this is your perspective. According to us and some of our friends who know China better, His Holiness has taken a very wise decision not to disclose all the processes, because China cannot handle unpredictability. If His Holiness makes the whole process known right now, then China has all the human and financial resources to spread propaganda all around the world to get them on their side. You know, and that is why we believe that the decision that His Holiness has taken now is very wise. And there is one official document about His Holiness reincarnation which was laid way back in 2012, September. And in that document it says when His Holiness reaches the age of 90, then he will start it. He will do something about his reincarnation. So now His Holiness is 87, and that is 3 years down the line. Okay, and by that time, when His Holiness reaches the age of 90, then we may have a larger congregation of religious heads and also decide. But in the meantime,
every single Tibetan community, if they can pass resolution saying that there should be continuation of the institution of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and that His Holiness the 15th Dalai Lama should come. If we request that to His Holiness, then His Holiness will take a decision regarding that. But as of now, as per His Holiness reassurances, we believe that His Holiness will live up to 113 years of age. It's not only the wish of His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, not for himself. It doesn't make sense for him to live that long. For the humanity, for the larger interests of the humanity, and for Tibet, he wants to live long. Right? Does that answer your question? Okay.
How that was like really powerful at one time when they took over China and Mongolia. How did they like become? I don't know.
How it became disintegrated
Yeah,
into municipalities. It's for everything, every issue, you will always have highs, ups and downs, it will not always be on the same level. You know, so Tibet also was a big empire, and the reason for its disintegration was disunity amongst the Tibetans. Even now, if we are not united, then we will have problems. We will have a lot of problems. Those days also, there were the two main religions. One is the pre-Buddhist religion called Pon, and Buddhism had just come into Tibet in 8th century. Right? The influence of Buddhism was increasing, which again has problems with the pre-Buddhist religion, Pon. So the ministers also are Pompos or Buddhists, so those are always fight. So during King Tirabhajan's time in 9th century, Langtharma killed his brother, assassinated his brother, the third religious king of Tibet. And then there was, and this Langtharma himself was murdered, assassinated by another monk who believed that he is the destroyer of Buddhism. So there was assassinations after assassinations, and when the kings were no more there, then they would fight about who would succeed, right? And there were no successors. There were fights among successors, and then they had to split, and then Tibet disintegrated for 400 years. It's always disunity that breaks up civilizations, that breaks up people, that breaks up governments. So that is why I kept saying we don't believe in permanence. We believe in impermanence. Nothing is permanent. Even as we speak, things are changing, right? And in Western psychology also they say change is the only constant, right? So China will also have to change. Now it is quite a big power, but it has to go down. There is no other way. But the question is, how long will it take for China to change? That will depend on a lot of causes and conditions. So we have to work doubly hard to make it happen also. Right? So we tell the Europeans, it's not enough. United States, Europe, Japan, Taiwan, all of these countries are responsible for creating this monster called China because of their investment in China. So they have so much foreign exchange reserve that is splurged on Belt and Road Initiative. They give loan to countries and